and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurship Uncovered. 3 best practices around SEO, that's search engine optimization. I'm Gabrielle Luma, CPA, CGMA, and CEO of Mod Ventures. I will be facilitating and joining in this discussion with Kelly from AMA Creatives. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Mod Ventures. Mod Ventures is an outsourced accounting and advisory company for businesses across the United States. Our accounting team is fully virtual and has been since 2014. Our passion is to help entrepreneurs organize, create, and predict their financial futures. We believe that strong small businesses create financially stable communities. Now, we're so excited to be talking to Kelly today. Kelly is a homeschooling mompreneur. She's a brand visibility strategist who is passionate about helping female entrepreneurs create iconic brands, achieve their next level goals, and make a deeper impact on the world. Through her design and SEO services, she helps you to be seen as the expert that you are long before you've even walked into the room. Kelly, I'm so excited to have you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. So today we're going to talk about the 3 best practices around SEO. And I am like, this is one of the things that we tackled big time when the internet was just coming out. I'll say 2008, 2009. I'm dating myself a little bit for purposes, but it seemed a lot easier back then. And I think that things have become a lot more complex. But tell me a little bit why SEO is so important now in 2023.
Yeah, so now the SEO is becoming this buzzword that everyone is using, and now more businesses, even small businesses, are focusing on SEO. Before, there was like this myth or this idea that only large companies should focus on SEO, but especially as we are branching away from just focusing on just one marketing effort, whether it's social media, local marketing efforts, it's important to diversify that and to help people find you who are searching for something that you're already offering and that they already need. And so SEO becomes important because it's not just relying on planning out your social media content and getting in front of your current community, but expanding that community and that visibility in front of people who are searching for some solutions that you offer.
Right. So, and I love that what you mentioned was that you help people see your expertise prior to even walking in the room. Nowadays, your website really is like your business card.
Yep.
And so having a website that's, current and I mean, dare I say pretty, it's important or functional, what pretty, functional, whatever you want to say, but it needs to be something that represents you. And I'm proud to say that you're definitely have helped Mod in this arena so that we are really showing our brand the way that we want to and showing up the way that we um, believe that we should show up online. So thank you for that. It's been
Of
great
course.
working with you and really just growing that side of our marketing. Um, so there are 3 things that we should know. In some of these 3 things, and for all of you that are really interested in having notes, we're going to have the show notes in our notes area, and so you'll have all this information right at your fingertips so that you can dive in and go back to that. But the 3 things that we're going to have and discuss today are the on-page SEO, the off-page SEO, and then the technical SEO, which are, sounds complicated, but you're the expert. So let's dive in. Tell me what on-page SEO is all about.
Yeah, so there's 3 components when it comes to SEO. A lot of times we only focus on maybe one component, or we don't focus on in the other 2, or focus on 2 and not all 3, but it's important to focus on all 3. So the first one's on-page SEO. That's going to be optimizing your individual pages to make sure that it's has the best chances for visibility on search engines. So examples of that could be your content, making sure that you have quality content on all of your individual pages, including your blog pages. It could be your page titles and your meta descriptions. It could be optimizing your images. So everything that you're doing on that page to make sure that you are optimizing it to the best potential. And then you have off-page SEO. So off-page SEO is going to be the things you're doing outside of your website, but they have a influence on your website and the ranking. So it could be a linking strategy. So that's where you have outside websites actually linking to your website, and that helps build credibility within the search engines. It could be guest posting. It could be your content marketing strategy and how you're um, inviting people to actually come onto your website. And then it could also be your reviews. So what are people saying about you on Google? When I look at your Google My Business profile, are they positive reviews? Are people having, positive experiences with your brand? And if not, how do we correct that? Because that also plays a factor in your rankings.
Mhm.
And then finally is your technical SEO. So those are the technical website changes that you should make to your site to make sure that it's SEO friendly. So that could be mobile friendliness, where nowadays all of our websites should be mobile friendly, right? Because everyone or most people are searching from a mobile device. And then also your site speed. Are your pages able to load quickly? Are people able to find the information that they need to find quickly? Are your pages indexed so Google can actually showcase that content? Those things are really important, and just making sure, especially with the technical SEO, that you're correcting those as soon as possible to make sure your site has the best potential for ranking.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot.
See, this is why you're the expert in this. Well, I think one of the things that I learned by working with you was that, yeah, there's a lot of, we had a lot of broken items on the back end that weren't completely kosher, I guess you'd say.
Hmm.
So, in order to really have good functionality, just for it to run normally, um, we had to really fix those things to begin with, right? Before
Yep.
we could even jump into our marketing strategies and, how are we really going to promote and have all these things put together. So there's a lot. Your site might look pretty, but it doesn't have all the technical things that you need to have in order to make it run well. So, and you need those three things in order for that to happen. So,
Yeah. And I always say it's one thing for your site to be pretty, but it's another thing for it to actually convert and for it to drive leads. And so your website should do both. It should definitely be pretty, but it should also be strategically designed in a way that's going to help you to get leads. You shouldn't have to work hard to get everyone over to your website. Have people to find it organically, and that's where SEO comes in. So
right, the organic growth. And I think that that's where I think that that's really where blogging has helped us too, is where people can find us based on our content and what we're actually putting out there in the world. I think that's been really helpful. But I know that there's a lot of ideas around this. And so, tell me about blogging. Yeah, because I think people are seeing blogging as not as important as they used to. And I've been a blogger like for years. Like we've been putting content out there for years and years and years. Now we are not always consistent where we were doing it every single week, but goodness gracious, we have a ton of content really. And so,
mhm.
why is blogging still relevant to SEO?
Yeah, so it's crazy when I see, certain things around the internet of like blogging is dead. I'm like, blogging is not dead. Blogging is still very relevant. It may look different, right? There's different ways that, people are blogging, but it's still very relevant because your core pages are going to talk about, your services you offer and your brand name and, things of that sort. But blogging allows for you to expand beyond that and attract your audience at different phases of where they are, right? So not everyone who comes to your site is going to be ready to purchase from you right then and there. And there's a journey that your audience goes on before they get to that point. Blogging allows for you to tackle longer tail keywords and other keywords outside of what you offer in those core pages. And
Mhm.
so it allows for you to be able to do that. And there's a couple of things just to help you when it comes to blogging. One is to create high quality content, right? Especially with AI being a trend right now, we want to make sure that we're still blogging from a standpoint of creating content that we are an expert in and that we know about, and also that it's going to be high quality content.
Mhm.
But it's also going to be important to make sure that we are focusing on, like I said, not just the shorter tail keywords, but longer tail keywords. And so a mixture of those. And what I mean by that is Shorter tail keywords are going to be something such as maybe a bookkeeper, right? But a longer tail keyword could be outsourcing, outsourced bookkeeper in Missouri or outsourced bookkeeper in Arizona, right? So it's going to be a longer tail keyword, which could have a smaller volume, right? Not as many people are searching for that as they are bookkeeper, but it's less competitive and it gives you an advantage in being able to niche down on the audience who is actually looking for something a little bit more specific and get them onto your website. Because I always say it's not about just getting any and all traffic to your website. You want qualified traffic to your website to make sure that you're seeing the best results with your SEO efforts.
Right, right. I think that's so true. And I think that's the idea is um not everybody is going to be a great client for you or
Yeah.
for your business. And actually you're able to qualify them a little bit better even by being more specific with, your longer, I how did you say that? Long,
Longer tail keywords.
there you go, long tail keywords. So I see that as a great funneling opportunity where you're truly just hitting the people that are searching for what you do specifically and matching them to you better. So once they hit your website, it's like, oh, this is perfect. She's what we
Yep.
need. This is exactly what we're trying to do. So I love that. I think that's a great um strategy. So, and I know that we've been using that
Yeah.
consistently. Um, so another thing that you mentioned, and I think this is kind of cool, like you're hitting some of the myths. And one of the myths is that SEO is something that you do only one time, right? And that's a myth.
Yep.
And so let's myth bust that idea. What do
Yes.
you think about that?
So SEO is not a one-time thing, right? Because things are constantly changing. You could have actually just spoke with someone today, and she was saying, we used to be number one when someone would search for this keyword, and now we're not anymore. And that's because things change, right? Google changes their algorithm and things like that. Competitors come in and now they're focusing on SEO. And so it's just important to make sure that you're staying up to date on SEO trends, on what things are best practices when it comes to SEO and optimizing your site. But also when you're blogging, it's good to go back and regularly update that content.
Mhm.
So what you blogged about, back in 2008, obviously would need to be updated now that we're in 2023. So it's important to make sure every 12 months, I usually recommend that you're going and optimizing your content to make sure that it's up to date and then it's most relevant to what the industry and where your business is at currently. And then the other thing too is to monitor your site health. Things could change, right? You could have a broken link that happens because you decide to update a page or you're no longer using that page anymore, right? So things change within your website. So it's good to make sure you're constantly checking to make sure it has the best site health because that can drastically affect your SEO rankings. So yeah, it's really important to do that. And then with link building, which is having other sites linked to your website, you should constantly be doing that to make sure that it's an ongoing process, right? Constantly getting your brand out there, getting that visibility improved, and making sure that you're still driving traffic outside of just that organic way, but you're driving traffic back to your site, and it helps Google to see that credibility that your business has.
Yeah, I know that's one of the things that we look at pretty much on a quarterly basis is, how many backlinks we have, how are things going, are we converting, things like that. And you guys are paying attention to also what's happening on the front end. So any kind of Google leads that do come in, are we closing them? Are we, showing an ROI, if you will, on the services that we're working with you on. So that's something that's been really great to receive, because all business owners are like, is this really doing anything for me? It's like
Right.
money going out the window, but what are we really getting from this? And so I think it's really important and a great best practice for you guys, really showing your value and what you're doing with your clients. So it's been really great to see it from a customer standpoint, what that looks like. So that's cool. So when you're talking to a client, usually what's the first thing that you start, when you're talking to a potential client, what is the first thing that you kind of do in order to see if like it's a good fit? Are we ready to move in the next direction? What does it look like to work with you guys?
Yeah, so
I know, but I want you to tell me.
yes. So, if I have not designed your website, I want to first do an audit on your site, right? I want to see exactly where your site currently is, what SEO efforts there are, in order to determine what you need, right? Everyone is not a one size fits all, so you need to know exactly where you're starting from. But I also ask what your goals are because I want to make sure it's realistic. SEO is something that can take time, right? I always say give it 3 to 6 months to see drastic changes happen. And so if someone is wanting, me to come in and do something drastically, and then, a week later they're expecting to be on page one, that's just not realistic. So I like to set realistic expectations that SEO is a long game, but you can see some great results and you can begin to see our ROI back for many years to come, right? We could do a blog, for you today, and then, you could still be seeing residual from that months and months and months and years to come. So it's important to just make sure that it's realistic. From there, we map out a plan, right? So what does SEO look like for you? And that involves blogging. So anyone that works with me on an ongoing basis, we're going to be blogging, and we're going to make sure that you're getting that visibility out there, but also that you have a link building strategy to help you ongoing. So whether it's, booking you for guest posting, booking you for podcast interviews, making sure that it aligns with what your goals are, and what you want to promote, right? So you offer many different services, and so we want to make sure that the focus is around what that marketing goal is, because it all works together. SEO is not by itself. It's along with your regular marketing plan. So how does that fit in, and how can we help you towards that to help you towards your goals?
Right, right. Yeah. Well, and that was something that I learned pretty early on is like you want everything that you're doing in social media to at some point back to your
Yes.
website. And obviously then there's contact pages and things like that, how it typically works. But you want, again, that website to be your business card, but also your contact place so that everybody can get in touch with you. And super important for that. And I think there's, intuitively, I think we know this, but it's putting those strategies in place and making sure that you're doing it, like being really intentional with how you direct your traffic back to the website. It's super important.
Yeah, yeah. And I think sometimes we forget about that too because we think just SEO should work by itself.
Yeah.
But the more you bring people to your website, promoting those blog posts, promoting your services, promoting, your shop page, the more you're bringing that out there, the more people are going to visit your site, and the more Google is going to say, wow, okay, traffic is improving, whether it's organic or not, it's improving. This seems like it's a credible site. More people are wanting to see it. So let's showcase their blog. Let's showcase this page. And so they all work together. And so it's important to make sure that and it makes it easier for you, right? If you can take that blog post, repurpose it into a social media content that then just allows for you to easily come up with content without having to think about it too much or feel like you have to think about two different things at one time.
Right. Not recreate the wheel. So
Yes.
take something like our YouTube video and turn it into a blog or turn it into a, social media post. It's going to post back to, the website. I think there's a lot of benefit to doing that. I know we can do more of that for sure. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
ways to improve what you're currently doing. And that's what I'm going to say. I think from this conversation, there's always ways to improve what you're currently doing and making it more strategic.
Yep.
Because it seems like, most things in business, it's not like you can set it and forget it. You have to, make continuous improvement along the way. And I know that's been your attitude with us, and it's been really great to see that because I'm very much like that too. It's like we can't set it and forget it because there's always new things happening. So
Yes.
it's really great. Well, Kelly, I really appreciate all this time that you spent with us. And so if a potential client is looking, can you give us some information how we can find you?
Yes, so you are welcome to visit my website, which is Ame Creatives. That's AME Creatives with an S.com. And you can also find me on Instagram. So I'm a creatives, or you can email me at info@creatives.com. And I'd be happy to connect with you and just learn more about your business and how I can potentially help you.
Awesome. Well, we just want to thank you so much for coming today, Kelli, and visiting with us and telling us about all the things about SEO. And if you're interested in working with Mod Ventures, we're going to have all the information down in the show notes and how you can get in touch with us. And so from here, go have a great day, go make things happen, and do that continuous improvement so your business can thrive. Have a great day.
Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you. Bye-bye.